Today, we're putting the Ball brothers in the NBA in hopes that they'll become the greatest trio ever.
I took offense to that.
And because the Ball brothers are the
dominating basketball players ever to be raised,
they'll have 100% team chemistry, which is exactly what the Los Angeles Lakers need, because after getting eliminated in the 2025 playoffs, old-ass LeBron would be retiring.
I love the young people.
And LeVar Ball is sending Anthony Davis back to the Pelicans.
I'm undefeated, never lost.
Meaning that this trio would be kicking things off in the 2026 season. We got the Ball brothers on the same team. Duh. They get a little bit of a buff because they're playing together. Pretty self-explanatory. And in their first season, this buff they received was evident, as each one of the Ball brothers would average ridiculous stat lines, with Lamelo being the leading scorer and also dropping a ridiculous amount of dimes, as well as Liangelo Ball being the second leading scorer, getting a ridiculous amount of rebounds. And last but certainly not least, Lonzo was almost in the triple-double territory, doing everything from scoring, passing, and rebounding, and this trio would get the Los Angeles Lakers to a 66-16 record, finishing first in the Western Conference. The Lakers went 66-16. That is nuts. Not surprising. You got the Ball brothers together. You know what LeVar said.
I guarantee you win a championship because that's the original Big Three.
And we're gonna see about them being the original Big Three, as in this video, they're gonna have 10 seasons to try and either tie or beat Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman's 3 championships. And if the Ball brothers can win 3 championships, they'll have an opportunity to win a 4th and cement themselves as the greatest trio of all time. But we'll just have to see what they can do, as the Ball brothers are gonna get started in round 1 against the Houston Rockets. There's no way the Rockets do anything to them. And despite Dylan Brooks trying to physically assault Lamelo Ball, the Rockets wouldn't do anything to him, as the Lakers would be sweeping the Rockets in round 1, moving on to round 2 to face the Timberwolves. Rocky Zakarski, is that a real guy? With this series getting underway in Los Angeles, things would get rocky, as the Timberwolves would go up 2-0, and then they would go up 3-0. And yes, I know that a 3-0 comeback has never been done. It's near impossible. But with the 3 Ball brothers together and the help of a broken 2K simulation, these 3 Balls would win games 4, 5, and 6, forcing a game 7, in which they would go up 30 points on the Timberwolves, and it seemed like they were moving on to the conference finals. They just had to make history real quick, I guess. And the Ball brothers were nowhere near done making history. They were moving on to the Western Conference Finals to face Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. Western Conference Finals against Wemby and the Spurs. Draymond Green is on this team. Alright. And the physical and verbal abuse of Draymond Green would be a factor in this series, but not in Game 1. The Ball brothers were on fire and would go up 1-0. But in Game 2, the San Antonio Spurs and Victor Wembanyama would tie the series up and take home court advantage. And the future league MVP wouldn't be stopping there. They would return to San Antonio with the beautiful women sitting courtside, and they'd take a 2-1 lead on the Ball bros. And at this point, it was the Ball bros versus Wemby. They would go back and forth, with the Lakers tying it up. Then with the Lakers even taking a 3-2 lead. But with the chance to close it out in Game 6, one of the Ball brothers would have a stinker and lose. Lamelo is cooking. What are the other Ball brothers doing? Liangelo! But Liangelo's horrid Game 6 performance was history now. This conference finals would come down to a Game 7, which would be crucial in getting a head start on Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman. So the game would get underway, Wemby would hit a shot, then Lamelo would hit a shot, and this game would go down the stretch. Win or go home, it says it at the bottom. This is huge. Please, oh my. Over Wemby! Lamelo! Devin Vassell's got it with AR-15 on him. He sucks. Go connect. Lamelo, pull it. Oh, inside to Liangelo. They're tough. Once again, into Wemby. Why is Dalton connect? The center. Where's the center, man? What is that? What? JJ Redick? Rudy Gobert has 1 foul and he's on the bench?
JJ Redick is ruining the world.
Lakers up 2, Wemby with the chance to tie it, hits the first. Okay, Gobert is in, and Jared Vanderbilt. I was like, what? This is very crucial. Like I said, the Raptors blow, and they are waiting in the NBA Finals for whoever wins this game. They need this one. LaMelo, shoot it! Bang! He's clamping. But Gobert, no, oh my. Okay, all right, Gobert. That was a horrible shot from Wemby. Go. Put it on ice, LaMelo. Put it on ice! Oh my, he's so good. This is a sneak peek at the future. Steph Castle has it. It's a 5-point game. A stop here might just end this thing. Wemby turnaround, hook shot. Oh my, he's never done that in real life. But okay, now it's a 3-point game. LaMelo with Steph Castle on him. He's just going to the rim every time. Maybe pass it. Oh no. Bro, you should have passed that, but I'm not going to be mad. Wemby into the paint. Terrible shot. The Lakers have the ball. The Ball brothers, how many times am I going to say ball in this video? Have a chance to ice it. 5-second difference between shot clock and game clock. I can't talk. LaMelo is in isolation right now. He called ISO. He's going to take something ridiculous. Oh my, horrible shot. Okay, oh my god, the Spurs, they're not even going to call timeout. For the tie? Oh my, bro! Steph Castle! LaMelo! So with LaMelo, of course, playing 0 defense, Steph Castle would be sending this game to overtime. And in the overtime period, with about 30 seconds remaining, we would be tied up at 124 apiece. Steph Castle, once again, has it. Where's LaMelo? LaMelo might have fouled out! Vanderbilt with the steal! Up to Liangelo! Up to Liangelo! For the lead! Alright, Spurs ball. The Lakers Stadium, Crypto.com Arena, is rocking. The 2 Frenchmen on each other. Never mind. Draymond Green has it. In crunch time, Wemby for 3 in the lead. Oh! They're bailed! They're bailed! He's a chance. If he gets it a 4-point game, it's probably over. Hits the first. Liangelo hits the second. 4-point game. It should be over, but, you know, quirky things happen. It's over. I'm not gonna lie. Liangelo! He's like a defensive goat. And in the blink of an eye, the Ball brothers were Western Conference champions. But they weren't out of the woods yet. They had to take down the Toronto Raptors. This team is not special. This is no better than any team that they've beaten thus far. I feel like there's no chance. And it really started to look like there was no chance for the Raptors. The Ball brothers would be jumping out with a 2-0 lead. And the 3 balls could practically taste victory at this point. But the Toronto Raptors said, hold on just a minute. Brady Dick and RJ Barrett would go crazy in game 3, 4, and 5. Taking, you got it, a 3-2 lead, winning 3 straight. The Raptors take game 5, meaning that in game 6, the Ball brothers were facing elimination. This Raptors team came out of nowhere. It doesn't really make sense. And down the stretch, it looked bad for the Lakers. Advance, advance, advance. Please give it up. Austin Reeves. Hurry up, man. Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves. And as fast as the Ball bros went up 2-0, they lost 4-2. And it does not take a rocket scientist to know that LeVar Ball was pissed.
You'll be sorry as hell.
Oh, Dad.
But in the 2027 season, the Ball brothers would be looking to make LeVar happy. And with LaMelo averaging 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists, as well as winning an MVP, it kind of felt like they might just do that. As GELO and Lonzo would also have terrific seasons, leading the Lakers to another 1 seed with the same record as last year. But the question would be, are the results this year gonna be any different? Because looking at this graphic, the Ball bros really need to get to work if they want to have any shot at being the greatest trio ever. Meaning that things are just gonna get more intense starting with these playoffs. Where in round 1, Lonzo would lock up Ja Morant and the Grizzlies, and they would take this series in 4. Then against the Pelicans and old-ass Anthony Davis, the Ball bros would all 3 contribute, and they would be sweeping New Orleans in 4. Returning back to the conference finals against the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic, where MVP Lamelo Ball would outperform Luka, and they would take the series in 6. And I don't really understand how, but we would be having a finals rematch against the Toronto Raptors. Please, Ball brothers, get some revenge. And the Ball brothers, understandably terrified of getting their asses beat by LeVar, would play way better. Lamelo would hit the Raptors with his elite scoring, Lonzo would hit him with his elite passing as well as defense, and the fridge-like build of Liangelo would work the post and get a ton of rebounds. The Chino Hills Lakers would be sweeping the Toronto Raptors, claiming their first championship in this video. And with Lamelo claiming the finals MVP, they were a third of the way to tying Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman. But with 8 seasons left and plenty of up-and-coming stars standing in the way of the Ball bros, this journey would not be easy. Diving into the 2028 season and coming off their first championship, these Ball bros had a certain confidence about them. But this confidence would only get them to a 7 seed in the West. Ball brothers got the Lakers to a 47-35 record. That's bad. And yeah, that's pretty bad. They would also be facing the Thunder in round 1. And you'd think the 2-seeded Thunder would stomp this Lakers team, but that's incorrect. The Ball bros would use their powers for good, and they'd be winning this series in 6. Moving on to round 2 to face the Memphis Grizzlies, who would get swept by the Ball bros, sending them right back to the Western Conference Finals for the 3rd consecutive season against the Dallas Mavericks. And the Ball bros at this point had undoubtable momentum. Momentum that would be squashed by Luka Doncic, who would put Lamelo on skates and beat the Lakers in 5 games. And this was a disappointing ending to an exciting playoff run, but in the 2029 season, things would turn up again. Lamelo would be winning his 2nd MVP, as well as Liangelo having a terrific stat line, and of course, Lonzo Ball as well, with their collective effort getting the Lakers to a 70-win season. And taking a look at round 1 against the 8th seed Mavericks, you'd think this thing would be over pretty quickly, but you'd be sorely mistaken. Luka would not go down without a fight. It would take all 3 balls to get past this team in 7 games. Moving on to round 2 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, where Anthony Edwards was out for blood. As Ant-Man would have a legacy-defining series. He would win games 1, 2, 3, and 4. It would be a sweep. Anthony Edwards, okay, on to the next season. And not to burst any bubbles, but the 2030 season would maybe be the worst of all. JJ Redick was clearly smoking something, as this team would go 38-44, missing the playoffs.
JJ Redick cannot exist anymore!
But in the 2031 season, Lamelo Ball was back to winning MVPs. And Lonzo and Liangelo contributed as well. The Lakers would be 58-24, but that would only be a 3 seed in the West. But 3 seed or not, clearly these guys gotta get back to winning championships. They only have 5 playoff runs left to try and either tie the greatest trio of all time or beat them. And in this playoff run, it was clear that the Ball brothers were looking to get back on the board, as they would beat Cooper Flag and the New Orleans Pelicans in 5 games. Then they would beat the Curryless Warriors in 6 games. Moving on to the Western Conference Finals, yet again facing Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. And just like previous conference finals against the Mavericks, this was the epitome of a back-and-forth series, as the Lakers would take one, and then the Mavs would take one, and the Lakers would take another, then the Mavs would tie us up. But the Ball brothers knew what was at stake in this series. They needed to get back to the finals, and they would lock in for Game 5 and then close it out in 6, winning another conference championship and advancing to the NBA Finals. Well, the Lakers and the Ball brothers are playing the Charlotte Hornets. Ironically enough, Lamelo Ball's team in real life. And Lamelo's team in real life wasn't missing him too much. They were in the finals and they were being led by Ace Bailey, a 6'10" guard out of Rutgers. And while Ace Bailey is a freak athlete and would give them problems, he was really the only good player on the Hornets besides Jabari Smith, meaning that the Ball brothers would have their way with Charlotte. They would take the first 2 games at home, then in North Carolina, the domination would continue, taking Game 3 and finishing it off in Game 4 with a sweep winning their second NBA championship as a trio, and now things were getting interesting in this competition. They would just need one more championship to prove they were as good as the Bulls trio, and 2 more championships would make them the best trio ever. But we'll just have to see if they can keep this run going in the 2032 season. And in this season, Lamelo would be winning his 4th MVP, getting the Lakers to a 53-win season, again finishing just as a 3 seed. But it didn't matter last year, and it didn't look like it would matter this year, as Lamelo would slime his way through the paint in round 1, Liangelo would rack up the steals in round 2, and in the Western Conference Finals against the Kings, Lonzo would help to squeak things out in Game 7, meaning that they would be in the NBA Finals facing the Atlanta Hawks. And the Hawks had a big 3 of their own with Jalen Johnson, Zachary Risachet, and Bronny James. Bronny's on the Hawks. What the hell? So I'll just quickly remind you that if the Ball Bros win a championship this season, there's plenty of reason to believe they're as good as Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman. And facing a somewhat mid-Hawks team, it seemed like they were about to do that. And so with things starting out in Los Angeles and this team looking kind of fraudulent, you'd think there really wouldn't be a struggle for the Ball Bros. But to my own surprise, it looked like these 3 balls were getting neutered, as Bronny James was kind of a star in this reality, as well as Jalen Johnson and Zachary Risachet. And the Atlanta Hawks, coming out of nowhere, would take the first 2 in Los Angeles. The Ball Bros would answer back in Game 3, but the Hawks would win Game 4, going up 3-1, and then they'd close it out in Game 5. They got smacked. I mean, they got actually curb stomped. And after a tough series like that, the Hawks weren't the only ones curb stomping the Ball Bros.
I really hope Big Baller isn't mad at us.
All I care about is the W. Give me a second.
Wait, that stop!
And it doesn't take a licensed optometrist to know that the Ball Bros weren't trying to get their asses beat by LeVar this season. Their game was in the most tip-top shape it had ever been to this point. Lamelo was hitting all his shots, Lonzo was playing lockdown defense and dropping dimes, and Liangelo was working the post with his absurdly thick build. And all these improvements were great, but in the grand scheme of things, they were still getting to a 3 seed this year with a 55-win season. But if you've been paying attention to this point, you would know that being a 3 seed is what the Ball Bros do best, as they would beat the Nuggets in round 1, then they would have their way with the Clippers in round 2, and in the conference finals, the Kings would hardly put up a fight, getting back to yet another NBA Finals against the Miami Heat. And I want to be dramatic and draw this series out against the Heat, but the 3 Ball brothers, after an ass beating from LeVar Ball, are unstoppable. This Miami Heat team was solid at best, and the Ball Bros would be done with them in 5 games, winning their 3rd championship. Finally, in their 8th season together, tying up Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman. Meaning that the one question we'd have left to answer would be, are they the greatest trio ever? In the 2034 season, we might just be getting our answer. Lamelo Ball would be winning another MVP, but the Lakers would somehow get smoked in round 2 to the Phoenix Suns 4-1. And I don't even need to tell you what LeVar Ball did. We'll just jump into the 2035 season, as this is the 10th and final season that the Ball Bros have to prove they're the best. And remembering everything that LeVar said about them in the beginning,
Most dominating basketball players ever to be raised.
they had no choice but to prove it, as the Ball Bros' last dance would go as well as you can expect it in the regular season. They would get 55 wins, and that would be enough for a 1 seed in the Western Conference. And in the actual playoffs, they weren't slowing down anytime soon, smoking through round 1, 2, and 3, only taking 2 losses to this point, reaching the NBA Finals. Ironically enough, facing the Chicago Bulls, the very team of the trio they're trying to beat. This is for all the marbles. This will decide who the greatest trio of all time is. And the best player on the Bulls is AJ Debinsa, who's now one of the greatest players in the league, and he's the only guy standing between the Ball Bros and being the greatest trio of all time. And so no point in beating around the bush. Let's get into this thing. The first 2 games would be in Chicago, and the Ball Bros knew they had to make something happen. Shooting the lights out of the stadium in game 1, they would be taking home court advantage. Then, of course, in game 2, AJ Debinsa would respond, using his lanky frame to get to the rim and tie the series up. Moving on to LA, where the Bulls would somehow keep this momentum going and they'd be taking home court advantage back. But the Ball Bros, horrified of LeVar, would be taking game 4, tying the series up and shipping it right back to Chicago. The Ball Bros would carry this momentum over. It looked like after winning game 5, they would close things out in LA in game 6, except the Bulls said, hold on, buddy, we're going to a game 7. A game that would be as competitive as the series to this point. It would come down to the last 2 minutes where the Ball brothers had a 4-point lead, but the Bulls weren't backing down. Lamelo has Warren on him. He's driving. Dude, that's free. Okay, that's a crazy foul. Fight him, dude. Just fight him. He's got an opportunity to get a 6-point lead here. Lamelo, make it a 6-point lead. He does that. Oh, sauces. I don't know. Who's that guy? Okay, he's going to the line, whoever he is. I love this little free throw match we have going on. Just kidding. I hate it. We have a 4-point game here. Lamelo is cooking. Over to Liangelo, into Reed. Go to Lonzo, bro. He's wide open. Oh my gosh. This dummy. Oh, what a pass! Lamelo! 6-point lead. You just gotta play defense, y'all. You just gotta play defense. Lonzo's D'ing up. Now Reed switches on him. I don't know who that guy is, but he's long. This is Lamelo Ball's game, bro. He's free. Look at that take. Oh my gosh, you have to hit that. You have to hit that. Warren over to Salon. I wish I knew who these people are. Ola Datun. What is that, bro? You're not hitting that. What are you doing, dude? Lonzo, pull it! Oh, Lonzo. Why does he have Ben Simmons syndrome? Maybe it's a good idea to run the clock out. Liangelo. Yup, Liangelo! D-up, y'all. D-up. Lonzo. Get his ass. Hell no! Oh! Let's go, Lonzo. That dude has like a foot on him. Look at that. This is far from over. If they hit a 3 and then, you know, foul and all that, like, it is very much a ball game. Salon has it. Over to Warren. Pick. Warren for 3. Oh my. Okay. Still a ball game. They're fouling Lonzo. I think Lonzo's a decent free throw shooter at this point. Lonzo to make it a 3-point game. This is crucial. He hits it. We're good. We're good. Yema over to Ola Dotun. Oh, that's a backcourt? What? Okay. Not a backcourt. 6 seconds. 5 for the tie. He breaks it. Get it out. That's it. The Ball brothers would prevail, winning their 4th championship, making them the greatest trio of all time. And while we're on the topic of greatest of all time, let's look at LeBron and Steph Curry. If we put them in their prime forms today in the modern NBA, could we revive their legendary rivalry? Click on the center of the screen to find out.